So, Ali, in the chat, there is going to be a link to the survey. And so, when you get a chance, you can open that and complete that. And then that counts as your attendance. For those that are watching this later, the survey will be on the website. So, we are here
Gotcha.
tonight
So
to talk about, go
is
ahead.
the
Who has questions? I heard
sorry,
somebody.
yeah, the survey from last week, is that going to be with the link for last week's Zoom?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure I was on that. I don't think I made that one.
That
So
should be up. If it's not, then I can get it to Matt, and then Matt can post it.
Yeah, I actually got it up this morning.
Woohoo! Thanks, Matt.
okay, perfect. I will take a look
I
at
was
that
going to
later
share
tonight
this with
then.
you, and then I couldn't. What is your WILOA Gmail, or do I just send it to your Matt Bachman?
You can send it to wherever.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's the WILOA com.
All right. Cool. Um, our goal tonight is to develop our skill sets using individual skills and our commitment to improving. Here's my thought for kind of um, what we're going to center this around. Epictetus, who was at one time a slave, then became a Stoic philosopher, said, "When anything occurs, remember to turn to yourself and ask what is required in this situation. And when this is ingrained as a habit, none of these phenomena will have the power to overwhelm you." So you can read, and I'll read it out again. When anything occurs, remember to turn to yourself and ask what is required in this situation. And when this is ingrained as a habit, none of these phenomena will have the power to overwhelm you. And so my question is, what does he mean, and how can we apply this to our officiating? Um, Matt, Randy, Don, Ollie, any responses to that? When something becomes a habit, we don't have to think about it.
I think you go to your procedures, you go to your playbook, and you when something happens, you're not reacting, you're prepared for it. So I think that's kind of how I read into that. It's, you know, when shit hits the fan, instead of being reactionary, you know your steps and what you're gonna do.
Okay,
Yeah, kind of
thank
like
you.
you just become automatic almost. It's just it kind of like it becomes a knee jerk reaction. Like something happens and then you're already through it.
You're already through it. Okay. What happens if you've never experienced it before as a newer official? That's the challenge because we're supposed to know, and then we get better with reps. But what happens before that? That's the tough one. That's what's really tough. I think that as a newer official, everything is new, and so everything moves so fast. When I'm working with a developing official, I like to remind them that you have the experience now, and so you have an idea of how your body's going to react, and that is like one of the things that you can build upon. It's like, oh, I know how my body reacts. I know that it's gonna feel this way, and so I don't have to be overwhelmed by that feeling anymore. And instead, I can kind of set that aside and then use my brain to think and communicate with my partner about how are we going to go through this. On any game, you and your partner have way more experience than the players. And even if you don't, you can fake it because I think that we have the ability to remove ourselves, to calm ourselves, and to have a conversation about what it is that we saw. And so tonight, what we want to talk about is kind of what is a foul, and when does an action become a foul, and what are the kind of the criteria that we can start to build our judgment around as far as the need to call a foul or not needing to call a foul. So with this, Ollie, what I want to do is really get into kind of like what is it that we say and what is it that we see kind of in a game. So I have a couple of play situations that we can talk about. We can mine kind of the experience of the other officials on here. Not everybody's going to agree, and these aren't videos, so it is kind of like how you see the play in your mind's eye, and we can talk about it. Questions, comments,
Absolutely.
concerns? All right, cool. So Question, when does an action become a foul? Ollie, what do you think?
I think when an action takes away from an advantage or creates an advantage for
Okay. So
the
you
opposing
advantage,
player.
disadvantage. That's kind of high level stuff there. Don, what do you think? Are you there? When does an
Yep.
action become a foul?
When it's a safety issue.
So we have advantage, disadvantage. We have safety. What else? Mr. Cohn.
When I damn well feel like calling it.
Yeah, listen, that's a foul. No, it's not. Why not? Because I
Well,
didn't call
like,
it.
you know what I mean? There's that
No,
threshold part, right?
right,
It's like you've been talking to these guys.
right.
Bring it down, and then finally,
Yeah,
you don't want to listen. I guess this is how we're gonna, solve it.
right. You gave them the opportunity to adjust and they don't adjust. Matt, what about you? When does an action become a foul for you? We have safety. We had advantage, disadvantage. We have tired of talking to you. Do you have another criteria that you would add, Matt?
I mean, those are really three of the principles that even I officiate by.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to get really technical, you could even just say it's the breaking of a rule.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
we're abiding by the seven rules of lacrosse, and if something strays from those rules, we have a violation.
Okay. And then one of the things that Randy, I'm surprised that this one is for you, my friend. Obvious. When the grandmother in the stands can see it, we should probably call it.
Yeah, yes. When Grandma hears it,
Yeah.
and yells it out, then you know it.
So, kind of the four criteria that we can kind of agree upon that were shared were safety. What is a safety concern? Well, a cross check to the ear hole. That's a safety measure. Obvious. A beaten defender grabs an attackman. That's an obvious one. Scoring opportunity is denied. An attackman can shoot and is fouled, preventing the release of a shot is an example of a scoring opportunity denied. And Ollie's first one, advantage is gained or lost. A1 holds B1 during a loose ball and A2 gains possession. That is usually a foul. It's all dependent on if we see it or not. So those are kind of four areas that kind of serve as the basis for when an action becomes a foul. And then we have, next level stuff is tempo of the game, temperature of the game, what we've experienced, how the context has the game increased in intensity or decreased in intensity, have the players adjusted. So those are all things. All right, play one. Is this a foul or not? A1 has the ball at the top of the attack box and is defended by B1, a short stick midi. A1 drives down the alley on the goalkeeper's left. B1 has constant pressure on A1's hips, kind of like the 9 o'clock position. A1 diagonals to the goal. B1 has kept contact with A1. Now he's in the 7 o'clock position. A1 shoots the ball, and B1's momentum causes A1 to fall after the shot. Is this a foul on B1? Why or why not? If so, what is the foul? What is the time served? So we have a short stick midi playing defense on the hips. Players make a diagonal. He has constant pressure, goes from a 9 o'clock position, kind of on the side, to a 7 o'clock position, kind of on the back because he's beaten. Is this a foul? What do you think? Ollie, you're the new person. You can go first.
I'm gonna say no. I mean, I've played lacrosse, so I might think about it a little bit differently. And I play defense
Great.
specifically. So if I have a short stick D midi who takes his attackman down the alley and gets him all the way, and the attackman falls after the shot's away, I'm going to say no foul. I
You're going to
think,
say no foul.
especially if he maintains the constant pressure and contact, A1's not falling from a extra force or physicality coming from that play. He's
Okay.
falling from constant pressure, and there's a change of his center of gravity when he goes to shoot. That's just what happens. That's a good lacrosse play. I'm not calling
That's a
foul
good
there.
lacrosse play.
I'll let the
Okay.
boys play.
Let the boys play. I was telling my friend that earlier today.
Ollie, I was just say, Ollie, that is one of the smartest and best descriptions I've ever heard
Yep.
on why you would pass.
I agree. Ryan, welcome. We're discussing plays, and the conversation is this a foul? Um, I can reread the play, or if you can see it, what do you think? You're next.
Yeah, I just got on, so I didn't see it or
Oh,
hear
it's
anything.
all reading, and so we're going to have different opinions because the way that you visualize this might be different than the way that I visualize this. But what we're working on tonight is kind of trying to identify what is a foul, when do we call it, and does it need to be called? And so let me go back one slide. And so we're working from
We can't
kind of
see anything, Steve.
you can't see anything.
No, we see you.
We see
Just your
you.
sexy body, man.
What's my workplace? Come on, where's my
Thank God
shirt?
this video is recorded, Randy, for you saying that. I'm going to clip that, and that's going to be your ringtone.
Okay. Now can you see it? Now can you see the
Yes.
point? Okay, cool.
Isn't that the
Let
same
me,
paneled room that Joe Pesci took one in the back of the head in
yeah.
Goodfellas?
Okay, so
He was much funnier than Steve, though.
what do you funny how?
Very good, Steve.
All right, hey now. Um, so Ryan and Ollie, here's what I was reading is when should a foul be called? We have safety, a cross check to the ear hole, obvious, a beaten defender grabs an attackman, scoring opportunity is denied, an attackman can shoot and is foul, preventing the release of a shot, or advantage is gained or lost. A1 holds B1 during a loose ball, and A2 gains possession. So those are kind of the criteria that were brought up by the members in this meeting. And so here's the play, Ryan. The play is A1 has the ball at the top of the attack box and is defended by B1, a short stick midi. A1 drives down the alley on the goalkeeper's left. B1 has constant pressure on A1's hips at the 9 o'clock position on his hips. A1 diagonals to the goal. B1 has kept contact with A1, but now he's pushing from behind the player, kind of like on his butt cheek. A1 shoots the ball, and B1's momentum causes A1 to fall down after the shot. Is this a foul on B1? Why or why not? And then if so, what is the foul? What is the time served? Ollie said that this is a play on, let the boys play, because he had constant pressure and the fall was caused by change in center of gravity. What do you think, Ryan? You got a foul on this?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Ollie on it. I mean, there wasn't any disadvantage caused. It wasn't obvious. I mean, it's not really that much of a safety thing. So I think it's kind of a let them play as well.
Okay. What do you think the attacking coach what is going to be his complaint?
Well, his complaint is going to be that, there was contact, after the shot and
Yeah,
that A1 is kind of at a,
he got pushed from
disadvantage
behind.
positionally.
Yep, he got pushed from behind.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the argument. And so we're going to get to what we can say later on this because I'd like to spend some time talking about how we communicate and what it is that we communicate to the coaches. All right, play two, friends. Play two. Did Ollie leave?
I'm still here.
Okay, you just disappeared. You're off my screen here. Play two. Goalkeeper A1 makes a save. He leaves the crease. B1 is defending A1. A1 is cradling the ball, and as he is evading B1, B1 attempts to poke check A's stick head. B1 misses, and the attempted check contacts A1 on the cage, and his head snaps back. Is this a foul on B1? Why or why not? If so, what is the foul, and what is the time served? So we have a goalkeeper out of the crease with possession of the ball. He's cradling. B1 attempts to poke check the stick, misses and hits the goalie in the face. Is this a foul? If so, what is it? What is the time serve? If not, why isn't it a foul? Let's see. Any more experienced official want to try it? Let's to start the
What
discussion.
level of play are we talking about? High
This
school?
is high school, my friend.
All right, just making sure.
High school.
Just making sure.
High school.
I mean, a poke check. I'm probably going with the Randy Cohn brush on that one.
Okay.
Good call.
So we have a no foul. Why would it be a foul, Don? How are you going to
Why
explain this
wouldn't
to
it?
the
I
coach?
mean, if it's a poke check, I'm not considering a poke check as a strike or a blow.
Ah, very
I
nice,
mean,
sir.
it would have to be there'd have to be a pretty good thrust behind that poke check to be a strike or a blow,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Especially at varsity. Maybe if we have a low level JV game between two developing schools or two new schools, or if it's been out of hand the whole game and now
Okay.
we're just trying to control the game, then I could see something. But otherwise, in general, I think it's probably nothing overall.
Ryan, agree or disagree with Don?
I guess it depends on the force of the poke check. You know, if his head snaps back because it was pretty hard, then and again, I haven't officiated, so, but kind of
So,
looking at when I went through the USA lacrosse thing, they kind of had the flow chart of different things you look at, and if the force is pretty significant and it hits the head, then yes. If it's more just kind of a glancing blow, then probably you let it be.
okay. Ollie, what is your opinion, my friend?
And the fact I'm still thinking about it tells me I wouldn't call it.
You would not or would?
I would not.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Why?
not, it's one that I'm still thinking about is, you know, okay, it's a poke check to the head. Does that, is that going to quantify me pulling a flag or stopping the play? And to me, I've refed youth in the past, and the penalties always seem fairly obvious. And I've also
Okay.
coached. So it's,
Okay.
when there's a penalty that happens, it's pretty obvious. And that's kind of what I look for with a poke check. I
Okay.
mean, I think if the defender's out of control throwing a poke check, that's one thing. But if they're playing good fundamental defense against a goalie, if the worst a goalie is getting is a poke check, I think he made it out pretty okay. They're usually looking to kill him.
Right.
Fact.
So if we go back to what Don said, and Ryan, you'll gain more experience with this, but language from the rule book is was it a blow or a strike? Or was it deliberate? So in this one, this is one of the ones that we can discuss. A poke check is not. I mean, it depends on what you term a blow or a strike. But if he's attempting to poke check the cross and misses and just kind of jabs him in the face, um, could be a brush because you might argue that it wasn't a blow or a strike. And so that's where we can use the language of the rule book to either fortify our argument or kind of set the criteria. It wasn't a blow or a strike, therefore it's a brush. Does that make sense? All right, play 3. A1 shoots the ball to score. A2 and B1 run to the end line. A1 dives and B2 lands on top of A1. Team A is awarded possession by rule of being closer to the line when the ball went out. A3 gets the ball and is ready to start play. A2 cannot resume his position because B2 is still on top of A2. Is this a foul? Why or why not? So you have two players tangled up. They're on the field, off the field. One's laying on top of the other. The kid's ready to start play. And you guys still have somebody laying on top of the other player. Is this a foul? Randy Cohn, what do you got?
Well, depending on how long he's laying on him is one thing, but remember, there is no such thing as a fast restart. We just
Right.
restart as fast as we can.
Right.
So I'm telling the guy, get off him. At best, it's a loose ball hold because the ball went out of bounds.
Right.
Just get off him, okay? And as soon as they
Right.
both get back to their feet, I'm just going to blow the whistle and get going.
Okay. So you're talking to him.
Mhm.
Matt Bach, how do you handle this one?
Is he making an attempt to get off of him?
I don't know.
That's-
It doesn't
Well,
say.
I'm not asking you that question, but
Yeah.
that's what's going through my head. Is he making an attempt to get off of the other player?
Right.
Exactly
That's
to Randy's point, like I'm telling him, move along. Like
yeah.
get off of him. No quick restarts. We're gonna wait till everybody's set and then we're gonna go.
Okay. And
Again,
so
worst case, loose ball
go,
hold, we're still gonna say same thing.
okay.
Could we have an injured player here?
Would it
Guy
be,
fell on
would
top.
it,
Guy
go
fell
ahead
on
though.
top of another guy, knocks the wind out of himself or something, and just doesn't get off of him.
Yeah.
Something stupid, but it could happen.
It could.
Yeah. What if A2 has already scored like 4 goals?
Right. It's good defense then, right? Just lay
Yeah,
on top of him.
it's like we're gonna take this guy out of the play. He's not going. But yeah, so I mean, like this one, I just see is just like, can we talk to the players? Can we talk to the players? If we have a loose ball hold, we're gonna give them the ball back. But then in college, do we reset the shot clock?
Well, this could become a delay of game though, too, right?
Yeah, it could
Because
become a delay
the
game.
the play is
Right.
already over for the loose ball hold, so you have a potential delay of game.
And then you
So
got to
we could
throw a
have a
flag.
delay a game.
Right. Then you'd have to throw the flag because we already have possession.
And if it's high school, then we're going to not have a shot clock.
Right.
And so then the player's going to sit after he gets his win back. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. So we have talked to him. We have how long is he making an effort? Third is if it's prolonged or intentional, we could have a delay a game. Would it become unsportsmanlike?
He'd have to be on him for a long time for that,
Okay.
or trying to do something dastardly to him.
Okay.
Don, this is kind of
I
like the
think, I
kid
think the
from
manner in which he gets off of them
yeah, that was a good point. That's what I
determines
was going
whether
to
you go to
ask. It's like
unsportsmanlike.
we
All
still
right. Is
have
he
to
pushing on
officiate
his
that whole
helmet when he
play.
gets up?
Yeah, does he give him
Yeah, if he gets up and he punches him in the helmet, you're gonna
Yeah.
throw a flag.
Or push it, or just push off of him, like he squishes him to
Yeah.
push off.
give
That's
him
where
that
I
extra
think,
shot while they're down there?
yeah, as the covering official, I think this could be difficult because you have a lot going on and your eye is up checking the other player, but then, or you're watching these players and then the guy takes off running, the guy with the ball.
Yeah,
So I
Randy
think,
was going to say we had a similar-ish
Yeah.
play at Marion
Lawrence.
what
or
happened? Tell us.
Lawrence a couple
Lawrence.
weeks ago.
Tell us.
It was two guys taking off, and the one kid tripped over the kid that was on the ground already because there was a big melee going on. And I called loose ball hold. Boom, we're going this way. The kid goes, I can get called for a hold by laying on top of him.
Yes.
Like, dude, you landed on him. I mean, I said you impeded his ability to get up. Well, I didn't think that was a right call. Too bad. That's what we're going with.
So you had this play.
Pretty
Similar,
close,
yeah.
except
Yeah.
it was in the field. There wasn't. It didn't go off the end line. It was just going the other direction.
Right. I mean, but okay.
Then we had another play. I think that was at Lawrence, and the day before at Marion, we had one where two kids got tangled up in front of the crease, and the attackman, his stick was between the defender's legs,
Oh yeah.
and the defender started walking away, and it looked like he was taking the stick with him.
Okay.
But at the same time, the attackman was reaching his hand out to grab his stick, but it looked like the attackman was reaching his hand out to kind of trip the kid. But then you could tell he was fumbling for his stick, so it was really goofy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah,
it's one of those ones where you gotta stay with it the whole time and really assess it.
Did you guys call anything, or how did you?
No, we had nothing. I just
Okay.
told him easy up, and
Yeah.
I thought the kid was trying to trip him at first, and then I could see he was fumbling with the stick
Yeah.
as the other kid was walking away, kind of with the stick between his legs.
Right, and
was
I
really
thought he
goofy.
was trying to rip the stick out of the hand. So because Don was the new trail, and I was still single side, and it was right between the two of us. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? But it was really nothing.
Yeah. So the kid. So as I see this, I just see a player. I'm imagining the player just has his stick, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And the other guy's like, "What's going on?" And then they kind of stumble over one another. Okay.
A little bit. Yep.
Okay.
I think even taking that moment too to tell him easy up buys you some time to process what's going on.
Yeah. That was I recognize that as well, Don. That was a way to use your voice to do some preventative officiating. I can't remember where I was where the ball was being withheld. The guy lost his stick, and then another player just shot the stick like 8 feet in the air. But that was not good. All right, next play. B1, a long pole, is attempting to clear the ball in his defensive half. B2 is near the substitution box awaiting a pass. B1 passes the ball to B2. After the pass is released, B1's cross contacts A1 in the head or neck. A1 immediately falls to the ground. Is this a foul on B1? Why or why not? If so, what is a foul? What is the time served? So we have a pole, throws it to the sub box, and then smacks a kid. Is this a foul? Ryan or Ollie? Who's going to go first?
No, it's in the act of passing, so I would say no.
Fantastic.
That's a normal lacrosse play.
It's a normal lacrosse play.
Mhm.
But people are going to yell helmet.
So what are the three clarifiers on that? Pass is one.
Shot,
Yep.
Pass
It begins
shot.
with an S, ends with a P. It has a C and two O's.
As a scene to
Scoop?
what? You
Scoop,
lost me.
yeah.
You lost
Pass
me
shot
somewhere.
or scoop.
Pass shot or scoop?
Yep. So it's in the rule book.
When
And
there's
you're going to
contact.
see, and guys, you're going to see that sometime, Ollie and Ryan. You're going to see it. A scoop, a guy's going to go down and get the ball, and the other defensive player is going to come at him, and he's going to come up and he's going to catch him probably like under the chin
Mhm.
and look like he's goring him. But there's nothing there. That he's allowed to bring his stick up.
Yeah, and it looks bad,
Yeah.
but the player didn't do anything. And then the other thing we have to watch on that is the player with his head down. Then we could have a defenseless player
Mhm.
because you cannot contact a player that is with his head down in high school. All right, play 5. A1, a midi has received a pass on a clear and entered his offensive half of the field. B1, a long stick midi, establishes a defensive position and attempts a slap check on A1. A1 counters the attempted check with a swim move. B1 misses, and then A1 trips over B1's cross after B1 missed the check. Is this a foul on B1? Why or why not? If so, what is the foul? What is the time served? So we have a swim move. Now the pole's on the ground, and I trip over it. Is that a foul? If so, why? If not, why not? We can't see it, so it's up to your imagination how long the stick is there. You just want to make sure that you can explain it.
I have a trip there.
You have a trip foul?
Yeah. I mean, you're
how and
throwing
why?
a slap. I think if you're throwing, we're throwing a slap check and it's going down long enough to be below his knees where he's going to get tripped on it. That's our first problem. So to me, that's a check that's not in control.
Okay.
And then number 2, if we're making that, I'm assuming we're receiving a pass on a clear. So that's, somewhat of a fast break opportunity.
Okay.
That is now no longer there because this player was tripped by a misplaced check.
Okay.
So I think it's.
So you're going to call a slash for it being out of control because slashes don't have to contact. They can just be out of control. You're going to call a slash, you're going to call a trip.
I guess it would depend on how long it lingered, how long the stick stayed down, but realistically, probably a trip because
Okay.
that's what happens to when he trips over the cross.
Okay. Other opinions? You guys got this. We're so good. All right. I think in this situation, if he misses and then the stick is obstructs the player and the player falls on it, then or trips over it, then that's a trip. If after the swim move the player is out of balance and then the stick is there and then he falls down, I might have a different feeling. I tend to a lot of times people are screaming for stuff, but players trip on themselves because they're out of control or don't have good balance. And so keeping a wide field of vision helps me with that. And I want to, if a player commits a foul, I'll give him a foul. But if he doesn't commit a foul, I don't want to punish him for something wrong. All right, for each personal foul, the challenge is this. For each personal foul, use the language from the rule book to explain your call. We've been practicing that a little bit because we heard out of control, we heard deliberate, we heard the player was off, so it was delay a game. So personal fouls. I did not include illegal cross because that one's pretty easy. I mean, it's like, what did my player do? He has a deep pocket. What did my player do? His stick is too long. So I want to give you a few. We're going to go over each of these. So a slash, if I say, okay, A1 slashes B1, you have a whole bunch of criteria that are there. And so what makes a slash a violation and how do you say it to the coach? And so, because the coach might ask, what did my player do? And then I want you to, we're going to challenge ourselves to answer that question in like 10 words or less. What questions are there? All right, let's begin. Let's see. We're going Matt Bach. Oh, I gave you one. Never mind. Matt. I thought I had two of these. Matt, you don't have to.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the swing was vicious and the swing was reckless? What do you think? Is there another one that you use for slashes?
Kind of what we were talking about before. I always look at striker blow.
Okay, striker blow.
Because like usually it's like, if I have a coach question, what happens? Like, coach, it was a reckless check, or a lot of the times we see it was unwarranted. Like, he's swinging at a guy and he's clearly beat from the play, and he's just swinging for the sake of swinging.
Yep, deliberate.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Matt. Don, give me some language for a cross check.
Cross check. His hands were outside the width of. Well, his hands weren't together, and they were outside the width of his body frame, and he thrust through his opponent.
Oh, thrust through. Look at that. It actually says thrust through. So one of the things that I was wondering as I was contemplating this is like follow through is not in the rule book, but yet like what did he do? Oh, he followed through. And so then it's like, but he thrust is what the rule book says. So thank you, Don, for helping us out with the thrust. Is there another one for a cross check that you might use for the other criteria? So we have thrust, hands together.
Having
What's
it
the difference?
extended away from the
Extended.
body.
Okay.
We have an extension. We have an extending through, and there's like unequal pressure.
You could talk about the point of impact too, using the stick as a point of impact.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right. That's a real big key, Matt. That's a good point. Because it's not a cross check if you thrust into the guy
Right.
from 4 inches away with the stick when
Yeah,
the body's
or
up close.
or
Right?
if the thrust includes the point of impact being a glove. I mean, you could go with a punching blow, because I believe that's also written on the cross check too.
A punch? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. A trip. We kind of talked about a trip, and those some words that were used that were very applicable. Trip. Anybody want to take a trip? What did my player do? This one.
Finding
Go
out
ahead.
this actually just came up in a game.
Tell us.
We were in
Go ahead.
Dubuque, and exactly the same thing. It was a mischeck,
Okay.
and the player toppled right over the defender stick, and the coach looked at me. He said, "What'd my guy do?" And I said, "Coach, he impeded him below the waist."
Yep.
And all he did is he nodded at me and walked away.
Yep. One of the words that you want to use is obstruction, and it is below the waist. So he obstructed the player. You can obstruct with your stick, you can obstruct with your arm, you can obstruct with your feet, you can obstruct with your hands. So the key word in explaining a trip is using the word obstruction. He obstructed the player with whatever. But you can also say he obstructed the player. That's it. You don't I mean that's the language from the rule book. Illegal body check. What causes a check to be illegal? I have a player that is there's a loose ball and he comes from 8 yards away and hits a guy. We have an illegal body check in that situation. I'm saying he was more than 5 yards. And so that is the explanation, coach. It's an illegal body check because he was more than 5 yards. What do we say if it is? What does it take to be a legal body check? It's above the waist, below the shoulders, inside the frame,
From the front.
from the front. Yeah, we got it.
Side works too. Another thing, the illegal body check, if the player is grounded with more than just his feet.
Mm-hmm.
If he's leaning, his hands down, his knees down, or whatever, that's illegal. You cannot check a player who's not on his 2 feet. You can check the stick, and I saw some fantastic work on that this past weekend. Or I don't know how they ginsued around him, but they got to his stick and got the ball out and never touched him.
Wow. So if we have illegal body check, a check from the back, from the rear, illegal body check, the contact was to the back. Or why wasn't that an illegal body check? Because the contact was diagonally from the side. So learning that language can be used to explain what you saw and also to explain why it wasn't a foul. Unnecessary roughness. We had this unnecessary roughness on a screen. When does it become unnecessary roughness on a screen?
I just like the straight up rule.
What does it say, Matt? Help us out.
It says a violent infraction of holding or pushing.
Yeah. A violent infraction of holding or pushing.
Kind of like
a player leaving his
get out of jail free card for you. It's like, I just don't like it. It's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. A player leaving his feet to hit somebody.
That's what Paul Espinosa would always say. You didn't need to do it, and it was too hard or too hard.
It was too hard. See, but
too much contact.
Paul. I don't know if that was, if I could get away with that was too hard. Because language from the rule book. Head or neck contact. Let's take a survey. Randy, do you say direct or indirect head contact, or do you just say do you specify?
Well, because of how I'm going to lock them in, I'll say indirect or direct.
Okay.
That's about the only time I will specify the two. I mean, pretty much everybody knows when they see it.
Okay. Or hear it.
Don, didn't we have that one at Marion? I think I just cross-checked him right in the neck.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, so, there's no doubts here.
So Randy says you communicate direct or indirect. Matt, how do you handle that? Do you report direct or indirect?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It just, for me, it reinforces how the rule is written.
Okay.
Even if you think from the college rule book, it's something that just kind of trickles down into high school, because then most of the coaches understand, okay, if it's indirect, it's going to be a minute. If it's direct, it's going to be 2. If it's anything more, it's 3, and he's probably looking at the thumb.
Okay. Ryan or Ollie, in hearing that, in direct and indirect, if Ryan, I don't know how much experience you have in witnessing that and kind of adjudicating that. What questions might you have on that?
No, I think somebody just explained it pretty well. If it's indirect, you're at a 1 minute. If it's direct, now you're talking two or more.
Okay. One of the things that happens when people hear contact to the head instead of seeing contact to the head is a lot of times, more often than I think people realize, is the offensive player hits himself in the head with his stick because the defensive player makes a legal stick check on the offensive player. So if I'm cradling like this, or I'm here, they hit the stick, and then the stick hits, I hit myself in the head with my stick. People want a helmet or a head contact foul. And so that can be very, very tricky. Um, so just be aware that that happens. If you see a defensive player stick direct to the head, that's a foul. If you see a defensive player stick start low and then right up, that's a foul. Sometimes though, on whenever you got to watch where the kid is cradling and where that point of contact is by the defensive player to help a judge when the offensive player hits himself in the face with the stick. And so it happened the other day at a college game where the faceoff guy just head went back and he hit the floor, and everybody was like, "That's got to be a foul." And it was the three officials said no, it was all legal because the defensive player hit the offensive player's stick, and the offensive player's stick was what caused the head snap. All right, moving on. So here we go. Just some summaries. Slash, the swing was vicious. The swing was reckless. Tripping, the player obstructed. Illegal body check. The contact was from behind. The contact was what else we had from behind? The contact was below the waist. The contact, moving to the next one, the contact was unnecessary. See, contact to the head and neck. The contact started at the head or started low and ended high for indirect. The contact was directly to the head is or 2 or 3 minute ones. Let's see. We got called for a slash. I want to do some Randy was a coach, and Randy's going to ask what happened and kind of for each personal foul, be prepared to explain why something may or may not be a foul, which we've been doing. And then the coach says, we got called for a slash and they're doing the same thing. How do we handle this situation? So a coach is going to act like at a quarter, at a halftime. If they're really upset, they'll call timeout and come talk to us. How do we handle the coaches when they say, you called this for us and you're not calling it for them, and that's the same thing? So how do you open a conversation with a coach, Randy?
It's usually, hey, coach, I got money on that team, so I got to call it this way. No,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
it's like, hey, coach, we call what we did. We didn't see that the other team was doing it, but we'll definitely be watching for that more since we have now penalized your team. And I said, you got to trust us. We don't care, who wins or loses this game. It just when something stands out that it draws a flag, that is now, and coach, now what the threshold is for the rest of the game, and coach your players accordingly.
Matt, can you address this from an official's perspective? How do you handle this?
I mean, Randy kind of nailed it. I always go to coach, like I ask about like specifics. I
Right.
get him to try to elaborate a little bit more on what he's seeing.
Okay.
Because then at least I can reframe it to look at what it would state in the rule book.
Okay.
Because I mean, sometimes coaches will just back themselves into a corner the more they talk.
Right.
But most of the time, if I know I'm dealing with an educated coach, it's usually just like, I got it. I understand your concern. I will talk to my crew and we'll keep an eye out for it.
Okay.
And that's really all all they're looking for. They just want to be heard.
Don, the coach makes a statement and they're doing the same thing. How do you handle that?
Oh, well, I like to tell coaches that nothing that happens out here is the same thing. It might be similar, but it's not the same.
It's the
But
same thing.
but we will look for what you're seeing, coach, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. One of the things that where we get ourselves in trouble as officials is we start talking and give the coach fuel to his fire. So one of the a strategy from debate is find out, get him to talk about what it is that he's asking. Ask a question. Like I try my best to answer questions and acknowledge statements. If a coach says they're doing the same thing, I might ask, "What are you seeing, coach?" And so then I could, like Matt said, I can address what the coach is seeing. If he's talking about a play that happened in the first 2 minutes of the game, and I'm thinking 30 seconds ago, we're on two different pages, and I could be explaining something that now he's going to use against me. So I want to be very particular about what it is that he's talking about. So I'll ask, what are you seeing? Or what play are you talking about? Just so I can have control over like where the conversation goes. If he says we're doing the same thing and I say, no, you're not, then we're at a yes, you are, no, you aren't. That's going to go nowhere. But if he says they're doing the same thing and I acknowledge it's like, I'm like, hey, you know what? I understand your point. I'll talk to my crew and we're going to look, we're going to talk about it and we'll look for it. Then he's heard. But I try to my best to avoid like answering, like talking about something that he may not be talking about. So I'll ask, what are you seeing? Or what is your understanding of the rule? Because sometimes it's like they have no idea. So it's like, what is your understanding? So I know how to address it. Comments, questions, concerns. So simply do not respond to a statement. Get the coach to ask a question. If he cannot ask a question, acknowledge what he said is like, we can watch for that. Thank you. We can watch for it. And that way everybody feels heard. And we all get along.
Yeah, and all you gotta do is acknowledge the coach. Say, and you're right. We can watch for that, coach. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Mm-hmm.
And to Steve's other point, gentlemen, they cannot quote silence. So if you just sit there and let them talk, and if you do speak, you speak lower volume than they're speaking. You just keep going lower and lower and lower, and eventually they get the hint that it's not going anywhere. But be respectful of their time.
Yep. It is 7:53. You have 7 minutes to work on, use your homework, complete your survey. Don, plug for the Oshkosh training or the Saturday thing.
Yeah, Friday from 5 to 9 at the UW Oshkosh Dome. Arrowhead and Kimberly are going to be playing. Myself and Steven will be up there training. Sign up. Contact one of us if you don't know how. Only a couple guys are signed up for that right now. It's geared towards newer and more inexperienced high school officials, but anybody is welcome. Same thing Saturday at Carroll University. I can't remember what time I said in the email to be there for a pregame, but I believe the game's at 1. It's game at 1 o'clock. Yes, pregame's at 11:30. Come observe a game. Stephen can walk you through a game, answer questions while it's happening. Yeah. Anything to add, Steve?
Nope. Be there, be square. It's going to be fun. It'll be enlightening. I wonder what the weather's going to be like. Is it going to be snowing? It's gonna be
It's supposed to be
cold.
like 52 or something.
Wow, look at us.
Yeah, we might be in. Let's see if Mark Jamison wants to go shorts and long sleeves. Just kidding.
Thank God I'm not. I'm going to be in Boston.
Just kidding. I hope they get lots of snow.
Oh, it's gonna follow you. All right, friends. Thank you for your time. If you're watching this, Matt, I will email you the links and things, and then we'll put it online. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Steven,
Steve.
can you put that survey back in the chat since I was
Sure,
late?
I will do that right now.
All right, thank you.
Let me find my chat. More.
Oh, Bach did it.
All right, there it is. Got it, Ryan?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right, good night, guys.
Take care.
Thank
See
you.
ya.